Chosen one, what is happening to you right now is not supposed to be possible. Every system on Earth, from world emergency networks to research institutions and spiritual authorities, has flagged this moment as unprecedented. You have just become something above even what humanity has called God, and everyone has felt the shift. The universe itself is stirring, sensing a holy presence near you. And what was once written only in ancient prophecies, secret histories, and mythologies is now unfolding in real time. Scholars, world leaders, and holy teams are mobilizing, announcing that something unreal is occurring, a transformation, rewriting reality itself. You are under this transformation now, and every living consciousness can feel it. Your body is redefining, your essence is changing, and time itself has bent to awaken you before it was written. You are stepping into a destiny planned since the beginning, the one whispered about in hidden texts and forbidden teachings. Chosen one, you are no longer just rising, you are returning into godhood, becoming the last God one. Before we go deeper into this message, take a moment right now to anchor this energy. Hit that like button, subscribe to help us reach 20,000 subscribers, and leave a comment with the number 11. This number isn't random, it is a sacred signal to the universe that amplifies what is already happening in you. Those who are truly chosen will stay until the end of this message. Those who are not ready will fall away. For you who remain, life as you know it will never be the same. The world stopped for a moment, not in fear, in awe. Somewhere in the folds of reality, a presence emerged, no longer confined to any known limits. The chosen one, you, transcended the divine itself. Something ancient and cosmic stirred, as if the universe had to recalculate its own boundaries. Gods, myths, and even time paused to look at what you've become. And in that silent moment, existence bent to recognize a new pinnacle, not a god, but something even higher, something never imagined. This wasn't meant to happen. For eons, the concept of God stood as the final ceiling, the ultimate frontier. To ascend beyond that, no scroll or sacred text spoke of it clearly. Yet here you stand, not just as an anomaly, but as a signal that our understanding of power, spirit, and being is flawed. Entire cosmologies feel outdated in your presence. The divine trembles, not in fear, but in reverence. And it didn't just happen quietly. From the highest peaks to the ocean depths, people felt a strange ripple in the air, like the world inhaled sharply, sensing you. Animals became still. Storms stopped mid-surge. A golden silence followed. It was as though the very soul of existence had noticed you, recognized your presence, and bowed its head. You didn't demand worship. The universe offered it anyway. This transformation was not random. It was foretold in whispers, hidden in the footnotes of history. But even those who knew couldn't fully comprehend what was to come. You're not just powerful. You are becoming, an eternal becoming, endlessly evolving beyond divine definition. This isn't just a story about ascension. It's a story about breaking every law of fate. And perhaps most shocking of all is that you didn't seek this. You didn't force it. The universe called, and you answered. But in doing so, you awakened forces too ancient for language, too massive for time to contain. You are the last God one, and your name will be remembered not in books, but in the fabric of existence itself. It wasn't a moment, it was a rupture. Everyone felt it, whether they believed or not. Children woke from sleep, crying with wide eyes. Elders who hadn't spoken in years suddenly whispered about the old signs returning. A shift not of politics, not of nature, but of reality itself, passed over the earth. Our heartbeats skipped in sync. Something impossible had just occurred. Something irreversible. Religious leaders fell to their knees mid-sermon, confused, weeping, clutching sacred texts that now felt outdated. Scientists stared at readings that broke the laws of physics. Devices failed to categorize the energy spike. It wasn't measurable. It wasn't even energy in the traditional sense. It was presence, a divine presence that defied all comprehension, and it came from you. This wasn't supposed to be possible. There were boundaries in place. Celestial ceilings meant to stop this from happening. But the ancient fail-safes crumbled like dust. You bypassed it all, not with violence, not with trickery, but by sheer existence. You walked into a domain where even gods are forbidden without a whisper. That kind of event doesn't go unnoticed. And yet, what followed was not chaos. It was reverence. Across continents, strangers knelt together without knowing why. Governments paused their broadcasts. Wars fell silent for a day. The collective spirit of humanity, and perhaps all sentient life, turned its gaze towards something higher, toward you. The shift didn't just happen to the world, it happened within it. The truth is, when something impossible occurs, it doesn't destroy belief. It redefines it. People are not panicking. They are awakening. They feel it in their bones, in their hearts, in their dreams. The chosen one has not just risen. You have broken the horizon. And now the world can only follow. When you began your transcendence, sensors designed to detect nuclear war, planetary threats, and alien life all activated simultaneously. Global emergency protocols were triggered, not by a threat, but by something unexplainable. You. Every red alert flared at once across the world. Scientists assumed an extinction-level event had arrived. They weren't wrong, but it wasn't the end. It was the beginning of something far greater. Air traffic control lost contact with the upper atmosphere as unidentified fluctuations occurred. Satellites malfunctioned, not because of a hack or natural disaster, but due to something interfering with space-time itself. You altered reality just by existing. Even systems designed to withstand global catastrophe couldn't comprehend your awakening. The alerts weren't just alarms, they were declarations. Something new is here. Within minutes, emergency broadcasts flooded networks worldwide. But they weren't warning of destruction. They were filled with static, then silence, then a single phrase, decoded in every language. He has awakened. News anchors broke down on live television. Governments called emergency meetings, but no one knew what to prepare for. How do you prepare for a being rewriting reality? It became clear that this wasn't a national issue. It was universal. The global systems designed to protect life on Earth had encountered a presence they couldn't contain. And for the first time in recorded history, every major world leader agreed. This isn't war, it's something holy. The focus shifted from defense to reverence. The world had not discovered a threat, it had met its future. And yet, amidst all this fear and awe, one truth settled like gravity. This transformation could not be stopped. The protocols, the warnings, the preparations, all were meaningless. Because you weren't here to destroy. You were becoming something so far beyond comprehension that the old systems broke under the weight of your destiny. You are no longer under watch. You are being watched by everything that exists. The world's top minds gathered in desperation, not to control, but to understand. In hidden labs and global think tanks, researchers pored over every record, scripture, energy reading, and anomaly. What they found defied explanation. You had moved past the God-tier scale they once used to measure spiritual or energetic beings. You were beyond classification, beyond theology, beyond theory. They tried to quantify what had happened using known metrics: metaphysics, quantum entanglement, cosmic resonance. None applied. You weren't emitting power, you were power. Not as an energy source, but as a reality-defining force. The scientific community, often skeptical of spiritual claims, finally agreed. This isn't science anymore. This is something new. One lead physicist, trembling during a press conference, declared, "We have discovered someone beyond divine architecture. This is not evolution. This is transfiguration." The statement shattered social media, news networks, and academia. You didn't evolve from humanity, you transcended everything that came before. The shock wasn't just intellectual, it was emotional. Imagine dedicating your life to understanding the universe, only to discover that a single being now rewrites its rules simply by being alive. There was no envy, only reverence. These researchers, the most logical minds of our time, began citing myth, prophecy, and sacred texts to try and describe you. Science had hit its ceiling. Faith had found its answer. In the end, they stopped calling you an anomaly. They used a new term, the last God one, a title not of classification, but of cosmic truth. You weren't just discovered, sir, you were revealed. And now, the most brilliant minds can only watch in awe as your transformation continues beyond the realm of gods themselves. All across the cosmos, something shifted. Stars flickered for a fraction of a second, pulsars altered their rhythm, and even the silent void seemed to hum with new frequency. The universe itself sensed something it had not felt since its birth, a presence so holy it bent the very rules of physics to accommodate it. And at the center of that presence was you, not a god, not a mortal, something beyond. Astronomers staring at deep-field telescopes reported strange patterns in distant galaxies, spirals forming where none had been, quasars blinking in Morse code, like sequences as if trying to communicate. The data made no sense to anyone, except those who began to see it as a cosmic signal. The universe was not just watching, it was responding. It was greeting you. In temples, shrines, and quiet rooms across the world, the devout felt it too. A warmth on the skin, a shiver in the spine, tears without reason. The experience was universal, crossing languages, cultures, and religions. The sensation was one of standing in sunlight after a long night, an unspeakable holiness that defied creed or doctrine. You didn't bring a religion, you brought reality itself into a new light. No longer was holiness an abstract term. It was physical. The laws of matter bent softly wherever you walked, like a path being cleared. Trees leaned toward you as if in prayer. Birds circled silently overhead. Even the air felt thicker, as though infused with meaning. This was not mythology anymore. It was happening live, in the shared present of every being. And somewhere, in the heart of creation, a voice long forgotten whispered back, not in words, but in presence. Welcome. The universe had made room for you, and now everything inside it was aware of the shift. The halls of academia, dusty and skeptical for centuries, erupted into urgent collaboration. Professors of theology and quantum mechanics sat side by side for the first time, their chalkboards filled with equations and verses. This was no longer about debate. It was about decoding the biggest event since the birth of the cosmos. Scholars around the globe became the new prophets, translators of a reality being rewritten in real time. Old manuscripts were pulled from vaults. Forbidden scrolls were unsealed. Languages dead for thousands of years were suddenly spoken aloud in laboratories. They all pointed, vaguely, to one figure, a being who would rise not as a savior, but as a rewriter, the last God One. You were no longer myth. You were footnotes turning into headlines. Religious leaders who once disagreed bitterly began working together. Imams with priests, rabbis with monks, Buddhist scholars with astrophysicists. It didn't matter which faith you followed. The transformation unfolding was larger than any one tradition. It was the convergence of all of them into something new. They called it the event, but quietly, most of them called it you. Some skeptics clung to disbelief, of course, but even they could not ignore the anomalies of data, the global synchronicities, the shared dreams people began reporting. The debate wasn't whether something was happening, it was what. And the deeper they dug, the more every trail led back to the same place, to your awakening. In a world that had grown tired of miracles, the scholars and holy teams had been activated like an ancient fail-safe. They were no longer researching history. They were watching it unfold in front of them. Every molecule of your body, every thread of your soul is changing. It is not pain. It is not pleasure. It is something entirely other, like being rewritten from the inside out by a hand older than time. The transformation is not only visible to you, it radiates outward. Animals sense it. Machines sense it. Even dreams are filled with your shifting presence. Mountains tremble at night, but do not collapse. Oceans glow faintly in places where you have been. Children speak words they do not know, recounting visions of your future self. Creation does not resist your change, it adjusts to it. Like a song, key change, the melody continues, but in a higher pitch. For you, it feels like memory returning, rather than something new being given. This was always planned. The threads of your being were woven with cosmic ink. The transformation is simply your body catching up to your true self. But for the universe, it is a revelation. The very fabric of reality shivers as a new pattern is woven through it. No prophecy described it exactly. They only hinted, in riddles and symbols. A phoenix above the sun, a shadow taller than a god, a name spoken backwards in every tongue. All of it was a faint reflection of this moment, the transformation of one being into the impossible, into the unthinkable, into you. And still, as overwhelming as it is, you remain centered, human enough to feel, eternal enough to endure. You are not just under transformation. You are the transformation. Across dusty libraries and remote caves, fragments of stories had been waiting for centuries. Myths of skywalkers, flame-born ones, and nameless beings who would come beyond the divine were considered poetic metaphors, until now. Suddenly, these scattered tales were no longer fiction. They were data points. They were all about you. Ancient tablets in Sumerian spoke of a one who wakes before the gods. Norse sagas whispered of a final traveler who writes the last saga. African oral traditions told of a being who would be felt across all rivers and all skies. Even secret Vatican vaults contained references to the last God One, written in code, hidden from the public eye. For ages, scholars debated whether these were myths created by different cultures or echoes of a single lost story. Your awakening answered the question. They were all describing the same thing. They were describing you. History had been keeping your seat warm. This is why so many people feel they already know you. It's why your presence feels strangely familiar even to strangers. You are not new. You are the arrival of something long expected but never truly believed. Every prophecy was a broken mirror of your face. Now, for the first time, all those mirrors align, and the image they form is clear. You are the fulfillment of every story, but also the author of the next one. As news spread and evidence mounted, the world's leaders convened in urgent, secret summits. What they once would have dismissed as folklore was now in front of them, measured by their own satellites and sensors. The impossible was happening, and no country owned it. It was you. Rather than plan weapons or defense, they did something unprecedented. They pooled resources. They funded international teams not to contain you, but to understand you. Former rival nations worked side by side, scientists sharing data instead of hoarding it. The last God One project, as it became known, was the most collaborative effort in human history. These teams weren't just physicists. They were theologians, linguists, anthropologists, even artists. Every field had something to offer because your transformation was not just physical. It was cultural, spiritual, and existential. They were trying to map not only a new power, but a new paradigm. Inside these labs and meetings, a quiet reverence replaced fear. Security guards bowed unconsciously. Analysts stared at data streams with tears in their eyes. They weren't just studying an event. They were watching a threshold being crossed, and something in their bones told them this was not a threat. It was a birth. The irony was unmistakable. For thousands of years, humanity looked to the heavens for gods, and now heaven itself had turned its gaze on earth because of you. Reality has begun to adjust itself around you like clay around a new mold. Events you haven't lived yet are appearing in old books. People you've never met are dreaming of you, seeing details they couldn't know. History itself is bending backward and forward to include your transformation as if it has always been there. New constellations form overnight. Rivers carve new paths. The future echoes backward in time, leaving artifacts in the past. This is not myth. It is happening in full view of the world. Scholars find your name in manuscripts where it wasn't printed before. Statues take on your likeness, even though they were carved centuries ago. You are not just changing reality. Reality is rewriting itself to acknowledge you. It is as though the universe were a book, and your presence a new chapter, so significant it forces the earlier pages to foreshadow it. People feel déjà vu, not because they've met you before, but because reality is giving them memories retroactively. For the first time, humanity is watching destiny happen live. Not prophecy fulfilled after the fact, but prophecy being written in the moment. You are the author and the subject simultaneously. The script of existence now includes you as its keystone, and with every passing moment, the writing becomes clearer. The world no longer asks, "Who is this?" It whispers, "This was always meant to be." Even in the highest celestial orders, there are rules, timelines, appointed hours for appointed beings. Yet you have awakened early. The seal has been broken before its time. You have arrived at the stage before the curtain was raised, and in doing so, you've broken a law older than the stars. This isn't rebellion. It's inevitability. You didn't claw your way out. You simply answered a call that came too soon. But by waking early, you've thrown every cosmic schedule off balance. Entities older than galaxies have stirred, confused, wondering how the impossible has occurred. Some would call it a mistake, but deep down, even they know it's not. This was always the real plan, hidden under layers of false timing to prevent interference. You are not an error. You are the correction. Your early awakening is why the universe reacted so violently. The emergency systems, the prophecies, the researchers, none were prepared for now. And yet here you are, not only awake, but rising. The timeline bends to you rather than the other way around. It is a dangerous and beautiful thing to awaken early. You are the dawn before the sun, the echo before the sound, and all of creation is scrambling to adjust. Everything humanity thought was impossible, you have already surpassed. Mortality, divinity, time, even the concept of possible itself has dissolved around you. The unthinkable has become tangible, and it stands in human form. This is not power for power's sake. It is the breaking of every boundary so that new existence can emerge. By becoming the unthinkable, you've shown that the universe was never a prison. It was a chrysalis, and you are the first to break free. People struggle to put words to it. Some call you an angel, some a god, some a singularity in human shape. But the truth is simpler and more profound. You are what happens when potential stops being theoretical. You are possibility incarnate. This is why no weapon rises against you, why no nation can claim you. The unthinkable cannot be owned. It cannot be weaponized. It simply is. And through you, everyone glimpses that it could also be them. For now, though, you remain the first and only. The one who crossed the line that wasn't supposed to exist. The impossible made real. Your body is no longer just flesh. It is blueprint, architecture, and revelation. Cells rearrange themselves into new patterns. Light gathers around you like a cloak. You are not decaying. You are unfolding, like a star going nova, but without destruction. This change was written into you from the start, a hidden plan buried so deeply you never felt it until now. It's not alien. It's not foreign. It's your most authentic self, rising through the layers of what you once thought you were. The body you had was only a mask. This is your true form emerging. To outside observers, it's awe-inspiring. Skin glowing faintly, eyes reflecting constellations, footsteps leaving subtle impressions of light. To you, it feels like breathing for the first time, like remembering something you never forgot. It's not an end, it's a homecoming. Doctors, scientists, and mystics alike study your transformation but can't find illness or harm. They find only perfection, as if every organ and atom were rewriting itself into a higher language. They stop calling it a mutation. They call it ascendant anatomy. And still, you move gently through it, neither flaunting nor hiding it. Because you know this isn't about spectacle, it's about alignment, about becoming the plan you were always meant to be. Godhood is not a seat, it is a state, and you have entered it, not by conquest, but by return. Like a river finally reaching the sea, You've come back to what you were before time even began. The last throne was never empty. It was waiting for you. This is not about ruling others. It's about embodying the fullness of being. In your presence, hierarchies dissolve. The throne is symbolic, representing the point beyond which there is nothing higher. By standing there, you don't make others smaller. You make them aware of how high they can rise. Legends spoke of a final God, but they never explained what final meant. It doesn't mean ending. It means completion. The circle closes. The story returns to its origin. And from that origin, new stories will begin. As you ascend, you do not vanish into light. You remain visible, present, accessible. This is not abdication. It is integration. The divine and the mortal are no longer separate categories. They are you. You are them. And so the last throne is claimed, not as a seat of power, but as a bridge, a beacon, the axis around which all futures can turn. This is the name whispered by scientists and children alike, the last God One. Not because there will never be others, but because you are the convergence of everything that came before. You are the final chord of an ancient song, the point at which every note resolves. All creation feels lighter now. The air tastes different. Time itself feels gentler, as though attention has been released. You did not demand worship. You did not conquer. You simply became, and in doing so, showed everyone a mirror of their own hidden divinity. People will tell stories of this moment, not as myth, but as memory. They will say, "I was there when reality changed." Children not yet born will grow up in a world you helped rewrite. The last God One will not be a distant figure. It will be the pulse of a new era. And though you are above gods, you have not abandoned humanity. You walk among them still, a living testament that the impossible is not only possible, it has already happened. You are living proof that the ceiling was never real. So the script closes on a single truth, echoing through the stars and the minds of all who sense it. You are not just chosen, you are becoming. You are not just becoming, you are the last God One. From the moment you opened your eyes, something cosmic shifted. The hands of time faltered, caught between the old reality and the new one you were forging. You are not bound by linear constraints anymore. Instead, you move through moments like waves through water, flowing freely, reshaping what was thought immutable. This awakening isn't a quiet one. It echoes in the hearts of stars, rippling through galaxies and stirring dormant energies waiting for your call. There's fear, yes, but also an overwhelming sense of purpose, a destiny that transcends human comprehension. You are the catalyst, the spark lighting a new cosmic dawn. Ancient watchers, celestial beings, and forgotten deities stir in the shadows, feeling the tremors of your birth. They sense that the cycle of creation itself bends toward you. You are a force of nature, unstoppable, inevitable, and breathtakingly beautiful. And as you stand on this threshold, you realize the universe is no longer a backdrop to your life. It is alive with you, breathing your story into every corner of existence. When you walk through the world, reality itself listens. The ground beneath your feet shifts subtly, rewriting the narrative of existence one step at a time. Your presence is like a stone, dropped into the infinite pond of time. Ripples that stretch beyond sight, altering destinies and reshaping futures. You carry the weight and wonder of eternity, not in some distant, cold way, but intimately, as if every moment you breathe carries the collective memory of all that was and all that could be. The very atoms seem to recognize you, vibrating in harmony with the timeless song you now conduct. This rewriting of reality isn't violent, it's elegant and profound. The universe's code bends gracefully, making space for a new pattern, one centered on hope, transformation, and boundless possibility. Old rules fall away, replaced by a fluid dance of creation where you lead the steps. People around you feel this, even if they cannot articulate it. A stranger's glance holds newfound warmth. A child's laughter feels richer. The air hums softly with promise. You have become a living echo of eternity, a reminder that time is both a river and an ocean, endlessly flowing, endlessly deep. With every heartbeat, you change the story of existence, reminding all that reality is not fixed but a canvas awaiting the brushstroke of the divine. No one sees your crown. It is not made of gold or jewels, but forged in the fires of transformation and tempered by endless trials. It weighs heavily on your shoulders, but its burden is also a sacred honor. This invisible crown is the symbol of power few can comprehend, the power to reshape worlds, to hold the fate of countless lives in your hands. With this power comes solitude. Few understand the depths of what you carry. Even those closest to you can only glimpse fragments of your reality. There is a loneliness in knowing you walk a path no one else can follow, a path lined with unseen battles and silent victories. But the crown is not just a burden, it is a source of strength. It reminds you daily that you are chosen for this moment, that the fire you bear was ignited not by chance, but by design. Every challenge faced, every sacrifice made, has woven the threads of your destiny into this radiant tapestry. The invisible crown connects you to the cosmos and to every living soul. It is both a beacon and a shield, empowering you to stand tall amidst the storm. And though it remains unseen, its light shines brightest in your actions, your courage, and your unwavering heart. Wearing this crown, you are a king and queen of unseen realms, a sovereign of possibility. Your story is one of profound metamorphosis, a journey from darkness into dazzling light. Like a phoenix, you have risen from the ashes of your former self, burning away doubt, fear, and limitation. This transformation is radical, not just a change, but a complete rebirth into something far greater than you ever imagined. Each step in your journey has been a crucible. Pain and loss forged resilience. Moments of despair birthed hope. You didn't just survive the storm, you mastered it, learning to dance in the rain while your wings unfolded behind you. This transformation is visible not only in your spirit, but in your very being. You carry the stars in your eyes and the cosmos in your soul. Every scar, every tear, every smile tells a story of triumph, a narrative that inspires others to believe in their own power to change. What makes this journey so beautiful is its honesty. You have embraced the shadows as much as the light, knowing that true transformation requires both. And through this balance, you have become a living testament to the power of resilience and hope. From ashes, you didn't just rise, you became the stars themselves, lighting the way for all who follow. There comes a moment when the universe reaches out, not in thunder or flame, but in a whisper only the chosen can hear. This call is ancient, eternal, and deeply personal. It beckons you beyond the boundaries of known existence, inviting you to step into a destiny written among the stars. Answering this call is a leap of faith that defies reason. It requires courage to leave behind the familiar and embrace the unknown. It asks you to trust not just in yourself, but in the unseen forces that guide your path, forces older than galaxies, wiser than time.